Pause, permission, kindness, share, question. These are 5 steps that I came up with in feelings-based living to really share your feelings, needs, and desires openly and effectively in communication within a one-on-one relationship. Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the podcast where we talk all about emotional wellness called The Mini Mirror Show. I'm your host, Amira Sookram, and the author of the Guilt-Free Goals book and upcoming book, Feelings-Based Living. So before we dive right in, let's work with an example for this episode. In this example, we will go back a couple episodes and we'll use the one where, your partner is not washing the dishes when you ask them to, and you wanted them to help out, but they're not doing it, and your frustration, your feelings are growing within you, and you're about to explode at them. And instead, you're going to use this 5-step process to work through your emotions and communicate effectively with your partner. So step 1 is pause. This is where you take your sacred pause and you sit with that emotional literacy wheel. You look at all the emotions, you name your emotion, you sit with why you're feeling that way, what emotion is coming up, and where it's coming from. You can think about where it's coming from in the body. You can take a moment to just sit with this emotion, and instead of running from it, instead of using a Band-Aid to cover it up, instead of having a drink to not think about it, instead of yelling at your partner right away, you're going to take your sacred pause and be with your emotions. So in this pause, you are going to name that I feel frustrated, and in my body, in my heart space, it's getting really tense and I'm not breathing as deeply. And when I come home from work, like I'm breathing into my chest and I feel a little anxious because I know when I come home from work, I'm going to see a sink full of dishes. And my value is that I value cleanliness. And because I'm coming home to an environment where it's not aligning with my values, I feel frustrated. My expectation is that I left the house clean, I'm going to come back to the house clean. And I'm frustrated because my partner is not meeting my expectations in this moment. I want the sink clean when I come home. And so I take that pause and I understand that I'm feeling frustrated. It's increasing my anxiety about, entering my home at the end of the day. And I just want to feel at peace then. Okay, so you got to the bottom of that. Step 2 is asking for permission. Whenever we want to communicate with somebody else, we don't just want to throw this piece of communication at them. Whenever we want to share something deep and meaningful or share our feelings, we want to ask for permission. It's the same idea as asking for consent. We are stepping into somebody's emotional space, and we should ask for consent to be there. This really takes away from the idea of emotional dumping and just dumping all our problems on somebody's doorstep for them to deal with us, or even just for them to deal with. So we're going to ask for permission. I go up to my partner and I say, hey, there's something that's been coming up for me lately within our relationship, and I would really like to have a conversation about it. Are you open to this? And if you are, when and where can we have this conversation? I've had people in the past be like, I want to talk about it over text, or I don't know when I'm going to be free. Let's do a phone call. And some people are like, I don't love talking about important things without being face to face. So let's wait for that. All of these are valid answers. All of these come and step up to the table to enter into a conversation with you. And we won't even touch if they aren't willing to, because that is another thing to work through emotionally. And we might have to go back to step 1 to get there. Let's jump to step 3. Step 3 is kindness. Whenever we are going into healthy conflict with somebody, to disarm them and to appreciate the relationship we have so far, it is important to start with kindness. Even if your relationship with your partner is god awful and you really want to wring their neck some days and it's not in a great place, we can always think about something kind to say. And honestly, if we can't, that might say more about us than them, but we're not going to touch that either. So, kindness. I really value our partnership. I love the way you do X, Y, and Z. I think that It is really awesome that you help me out when I'm feeling anxious. I love us. We start with something that we appreciate. And if we can't think of something that we appreciate about them, we could say, I really appreciate the learning opportunities that we've had together. Again, these are all I and we statements, which we talked about in the last episode. So if you haven't watched that, biggest tip for communicating effectively, use I and we statements. Step number 4 is to share your feelings and then the need and desire that is attached to that feeling. If you want to learn more about this, I'm going to talk all about it in Feelings-Based Living, or you can check out the book Nonviolent Communication to learn more. He has this really great way of putting that we're not making demands in relationships and to really focus on what is an actual feeling. I feel like you did something is not an actual feeling. We're focusing on what feelings are. I feel frustrated that when I come home, there's still dishes in the sink. I really value cleanliness and I need to come home to a clean place. I would really love it if we could work together to come up with a plan that maybe allows for the dishes to be done earlier in the day so that when I come home, I don't feel anxious. I really want to come home and connect with you. And it's getting increasingly harder to do that when my brain is focused on something else when I come home. Again, none of this was blaming the partner. It was asking for a solution up front after sharing your feelings, needs, and desires. And asking specifically for what you want at the end is so important. Instead of saying, I come home, I feel frustrated, you didn't do the dishes, I need you to do the dishes before I get home, it's not going to feel very loving and connective to that person. And they're going to be less willing to do this for you because it's about you. It's not collective. It's not like a solution for both of you. It's not a win-win for them to change their routine. But it could be a win-win for them if they understand that this will help you guys connect more, because that is a win for them if that's what they want and if that's what you want. So share your feelings, share your needs and desires, and come up with a solution that makes sense. How will they know that you want them to do the dishes if you don't explicitly say when it matters most for you to do them? And then step 5, always remembering that this is about having a kind and effective conversation. We need to end with asking a question. Okay, we're not making a demand of this person. We are having an open discussion. So asking a question really helps you bring them into the conversation and to be a part of the solution. And in this, you might even bring in a you statement because you want to make it a bit about them too, right? So you can ask something like, after I shared this, like, how are you feeling about it? Do you think it's possible for us to work through this? Do you think that it might be possible for you to do the dishes before I come home? Ask a question because questions really help us connect to other people. And if it's more open-ended and allows them to enter the conversation with whatever they have to say, both parties are going to feel heard, hopefully. I almost want to note here that not everyone is willing to have healthy communication and conflict. And so if the other person isn't willing to do that, that's going to show you something about them that is an important piece of information for you to learn. I dated somebody who always tried to run away from conflict, or maybe many people. And it's very important to know these things about them because it wasn't an indication that this would be a great long-term relationship for us. Being able to work through conflict is like extremely telling of how your relationship is going to go later because conflict is a part of relationships, just like rejection is a part of relationships. And we need to be able to sit with those things within long-term relationships. So if somebody isn't willing to meet you there, it's better you know as soon as possible so that you don't waste your time. Not that relationships not working out is a waste of time, but sometimes it can feel a little bit like disappointment. But sometimes it's a blessing, and that's totally cool. Whatever your feelings are, makes sense. So that's it for this week. If you want, you can go through this exercise on your own. I also have this exercise in my Sensitive Souls membership. So if you want to join the lowest tier or even join us to reflect every month on our feelings and our needs and our desires, you can totally join us there. And then feelings based living will be out, and I'll have all of this information plus the exercise to do this and how to work through your feelings throughout the whole book. So I definitely recommend staying in touch with me by joining my email list, which is called Flow Notes. And when you join Flow Notes, I will send you all the information about when the book is going to drop. And it is coming very, very soon. So I definitely recommend staying in touch that way. Please think about this. Think about this 5-step process when you are going to communicate your feelings to somebody, because it can really help transform a relationship when we enter into conflict and communication in a loving and kind way. That's it for this week. Thank you so much for being here. I am so, so, so grateful for you. See you next Tuesday. Bye.